Hi, welcome to 7th grade Social Studies. We are in Chapter 1, Section 2, Native American Cultures. Today we are going to talk about the big idea of this section, which is many diverse Native American cultures developed across the different geographic regions of North America. Today we'll have a brief overview of those societies, and as we learned in the last section, after crossing the land bridge from Asia during the Ice Age, hunter-gatherer groups spread to North America. Many adapted to different environments. First, we'll take a look at the Anasazi. They lived in the North American Southwest, in the Four Corners, which is present-day Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. They grew maize, beans, and squash. They lived in pit houses that were dug into the ground. Later, they would build pueblos. Many were built into cliffs for safety. They would use ladders to reach them, and the ladders were removable. They kept them safe from unwanted guests. Kivas were underground ceremonial chambers were used for religious ceremonies and a very important part of their culture. Next, we have the mound builders. Native American farming societies were located also in the eastern North America. These societies, such as the Hopewell, lived around Mississippi, Ohio, and the Missouri River valleys. While the Hopewell cultures declined, the Mississippians built large settlements near present-day St. Louis, Missouri. They built mounds for religious ceremonies, and there were several other mound-building cultures that lived in the Ohio River Valley. Over 10,000 mounds have been found in the Ohio River Valley. Next, we'll be moving to the north. In the far north of North America were the Aleuts. They lived in present-day western and southern Alaska. They lived in multi-family houses built partially underground. The Inuits live in present-day northern Alaska and Canada. They lived in igloos, inside tents and huts. Because it was difficult to grow plants, both societies fished and hunted. Both groups depended on dogs for hunting and pulling sleds. Also, the subarctic Native American societies consisted of the Dogrebe and the Montagus people. They lived in shelters made of animal skins and later log shelters. They were hunter-gatherers as well. In the Pacific Northwest, totems were carved into tall wooden poles by the Native Americans here. The images were of ancestor or animal spirits. The totems were of religious and historical importance to their societies. Moving to the west, Native Americans in this area, which is present-day California, were the Herpa, Miwok, and Yokuts. Food sources were abundant in this region. One of their major plant foods were acorn, in which they were ground into flour. They also hunted deer and fished. Next, we have the southwest area. In this area, which is present-day Arizona, New Mexico, parts of Colorado, and Texas, lived the Paiutes, Shoshone, and Utes. East of the Sierra Nevada Great Basin, they received little or no rain. Here, Native Americans adapted to the dry climate by gathering seeds, digging roots, and trapping small animals they found. They also spoke the same language. Also, Pueblo groups such as the Hopi and Zuni lived here as well. The Pueblos irrigated land and grew maize, squash, and beans like the Anazis. They lived in multi-storied houses made out of adobe brick. The Apache and Navajo also lived in the southwest. Unlike the Pueblos, they were nomadic. They moved place to place for food. They also raided the Pueblo villages. Next, we have the Great Plains. This area was stretched from Canada to Texas between the Rocky Mountains and the Mississippi Valley. And yes, we are right here in the Great Plains, Nebraska. Mainly full of grassland, the Great Plains were home to the buffalo, deer, elk, and other animals. The Blackfoot and Arapaho lived in this area. They lived in portable homes called teepees. Other societies, such as the Mandan and the Pawnee, were in this area as well, but they were not nomadic like the Arapaho and Blackfoot. They lived in villages where they grew corn, beans, and squash. The Pawnee tribes were matrilineal, in which it was important that they trace their ancestors back through their mother instead of their father. Next, we have the Northeast and Southeast. In the Southeast, this is where the Cherokee, Creek, and Seminoles lived. They were also part of farming villages. In the Northeast, the Algonquin survived by hunting and gathering. To the east were the Iroquois. They were farmers, hunters, and trackers. They lived in long houses or rectangular homes made from logs and bark. They created the Iroquois League, which was an alliance with other Native American societies, the Kegwa, Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, and Seneca. Their goal was to strengthen the alliance against invasion and in turn become the most powerful Native American peoples in North America. Yes, you are here, and so were the Pawnee. Take a look. Right to Grand Island, Nebraska. So what did these Native American cultures have in common? Well, they had a shared belief. While each of these cultures were unique and they lived in different climates, they had the shared belief that spiritual forces were everywhere. Spirits lived within animals and plants. They honored these spirits in their daily lives. This concludes the overview of the Native American cultures.